Hello and welcome to the Boys Upstairs show. This is the Week 11 NFL show.
Woo!
Another great week of football. We got another one coming. So I'm going to start off with some data here that I thought was pertinent information for everybody to know. Last week, all the favorites won except the Saints 2 weeks ago. And then this past week, it flipped and underdogs finished 11-3 against the spread. Game one on the slate, Chiefs at Bills. Bills are -2.5. Total's 46.5. The fact that the Chiefs are 9-0 and they're dogs in this game is pretty wild, but we will give it to Sam.
Patrick Mahomes is like 11-1 against the spread on the road as a dog and like won straight up 10 of those times. So
It's
it's really tricky.
11-3 straight up, 12-1 against the spread.
Okay, exactly. Especially with their underdogs on the road. They play every game. They show up for every game. There's no really off days for the Chiefs. As they didn't have their best showing against Denver this week, and they probably should have lost that game and somehow miraculously ended up winning it. But the Bills are also a surprise this year. Lost a few weapons, added Amari Cooper, who hasn't made a huge impact as of yet, but they're still sitting at what, 8-2 or something like that. So they're a very good football team. Josh Allen's looking the best he has maybe in his career so far. He's an MVP front runner. Undefeated teams. This is, let's say, last week and now is really where you start to get to the time of everyone everywhere is on who's going to beat the Chiefs watch and when are they going to lose? What's going to happen? I just don't know if that's going to be this week. And if it is, I feel like they'll somehow find a way to cover because they're the Chiefs and they just do that voodoo magic shit all the time. So enough with the sides. I'm also going to go with the over 45.5. Last few times these teams have played, they've been relatively high scoring games. They both get up for it. Each team knows that it's a huge one. So I expect points to be scored here, even with the depleted lineup of the Bills a little bit, but they always find a way to get shit done. They just took care of the Colts pretty easily, and especially if they can get their run game going. Chiefs do have a good defense, but in a game like this, I don't really count out Josh Allen doing some magic things. And if they go up early, or if the Chiefs go up early, someone's going to match it up. Someone's going to score. I feel like it's going to be that kind of game. It's probably going to come down to the wire, as all of these do, especially with Chiefs and Bills. But yeah, it's a really, really tough one to pick. But I'm gonna go probably Chiefs and over.
I've got some more data here to back Sam up. This is the first time that an 9-0 team's been an underdog since 2013, which is insane. There's no universe where this game doesn't come down to the last drive of the game. That's just how I feel about it. These are two good ball clubs, two ball clubs that want to win this game a lot. Last time these teams played, it was in the divisional round last year. 27-24 victory for the Chiefs. So the Bills probably haven't forgotten that. That's probably right on their locker room door when they walk in every day. Kansas City's defense, like Sam said, is good this year. They're top five in opponents' yards per game, top five in rushing yards per game, and both those defenses kind of in the middle of the pack. But it really just comes down to who gets the ball last, who will make the key plays, key mistakes, and like until proven otherwise, like we said at the end of the season last year, in those type of games, you got to go with the Chiefs. So I'm taking the Chiefs, the over, and I like Dalton Kincaid touchdown.
So if you can get the Kansas City Chiefs, the dynasty of our generation, at plus points, you have to take it. There's not many times you're going to be able to have that opportunity, so you have to take advantage of it. We've probably given a million stats about Mahomes as an underdog. Like every time they put Mahomes as an underdog, it's because they want him to win. They're just giving him more of a reason to win. You can't take the Chiefs. You can't not take the Chiefs plus. It just doesn't make sense. They're hot this year, but everybody's riding the Bills right now. Like that 9-0 team is not favored. Everyone's like, this has got to be the game. And I feel like everybody being so in on this game and thinking that this has got to be the game that the Chiefs mess up. I don't think that it's going to be this game. I think that too much of the public is going to be on it. And I think that the Chiefs probably see that. They're like, we're 9-0. We've been playing the best football in the NFL and we're losing. And what I've learned from watching like Michael Jordan's the Last Dance, from hearing Tom Brady speak since he's been retired, when you're like greatness and you're winning all the time and you don't have much to motivate you, you look for any little thing as motivation. And Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs are at that point in their dynasty, or would I don't know if it's considered a dynasty yet. Almost dynasty is a dynasty. What they're Yeah, what they're looking for things to give them motivation because they've won Super Bowls twice in a row. They're 9-0 in the third year. They're looking for things to motivate them, and this is one of those things where they can be like, "We're not favored this week. We're 9-0. We have motivation this week. Now we got a reason to win. We got a reason to show up again." So you got to take the Chiefs, and they're somehow plus. And then I'm also going to take the over. I hate taking the same exact things that everyone else took, but you can't look at this game and not think points. This game is always a show. Like you can't tell me you can't take the under in this game. I don't think because how you look at these two teams, these two offenses, these two quarterbacks, and say, yeah, there's not going to be points scored in this game. You just can't. You can there's no reasonable like argument you could have to be like, yeah, the Bills and the Chiefs are not going to score points. If somebody has it, you can comment it, but I've never seen it. So you got to take the Chiefs in the over.
I'm gonna be the odd one out and pick the Bills.
Thank
I
you.
think when I think of Chiefs team like this, I think of like the Eagles a couple years ago, starting off 10-0. I think of the Steelers starting off 11-0 a couple years ago. It's like you don't really they don't really seem like a powerhouse. Like, yeah, they're undefeated, but they almost lost to the Raiders. They almost lost to the Bucks, whose leading receiver was like Sterling Shepard, and they almost lost to the Broncos, who I think are 500. So I really don't think they're that scary, and the Bills do look such. So, give me the Bills and give me the over.
All right, game two on the slate here. This is the first time that we're talking about the Chargers all year, which is kind of crazy.
That is crazy. They're a bit of a wagon right now.
They're a good ball club. They deserve to be talked about on the Boys Upstairs show. So, Cincinnati 4-6, still struggling, but just played tremendous against the Ravens last week, but didn't get the win. They're going to Los Angeles. Probably will be more Bengals fans there than Chargers fans, as accustomed to the Chargers. Chargers 6-3. They're favored -1.5. Basically a pick 'em. Total is 46.5, and we'll give it to Coby.
The Bengals are in desperation mode, and that's something I can't wait to see. They've already been balling offensively. Not being as desperate, but now, they need to win like nearly all of the rest of their games to be able to make a playoff spot. They're probably like, if we lose another game or two, our season's over. They don't want that. They're fighting. The Chargers are 6-3. They probably didn't expect to be 6-3, or most people didn't, because, new head coach, they lost a lot of weapons. They're relying on Lad McConkey as a wide receiver one, and they're playing great football. But I think that, Cincinnati, they're desperate and they're going to take this. Their offense has been insane. Jamar Chase is, leading the league in almost every receiving stat. Joe Burrow's leading the NFL in almost every quarterback stat. They're making that the dudes who I've never heard of. The one guy from like Princeton, his name is like Iavos, and they have like Trey Burton. Yeah, that guy.
I thought it was Iosav. They say tons of different names. Some of those guys, their names change every single week. Like I remember DJ Ukulele has had like 15 different names on announcers this year.
Gesicki, the tight ends have been playing phenomenal. Gesicki, and I don't know his name, but I think the guy wears like 87. They seem to be open every check down. I don't know if there's any update on T. Higgins, but if he somehow plays, that's another weapon. And I just feel like the Chargers, this is like a real, probably the best opponent they've played in almost 6 weeks. So I'm going to take the under, which is surprising because I know I just hyped the fuck up out of their offenses, but Greg Roman is abysmal, as I made a joke in the group chat earlier. The Chargers offense has not been great. Like, yeah, it's been good against a couple. It scored 26, 27, 27 their last 3 wins against bad defenses. Or the Cleveland's defense is pretty good, but their team as a whole is just not doing it. And then they only scored 15 against Arizona. They scored 23 against Denver. The Bengals defense isn't good, but we saw them play pretty good against the Chiefs. And, like I said, with them being in a necessity for a win, they're going to be as locked in as possible. They're going to be playing their best ball of the season. It's that time. It's crunch time of the season. They need to win. So I'm taking the under in this game and the Bengals.
Jim Harbaugh mic'd up by the field, and it fires you up so much, just how much this dude loves football. He loves Justin Herbert. Like it's amazing. And I love Jim Harbaugh. And it seems this Chargers team that was kind of depleted talent-wise has really bought into Harbaugh, as I'll call it, as Jim Harbaugh. They've made their bread and butter all year by just gritting teams down, running the ball, holding them on defense, playing a full 60 minutes of tough football. Bengals, on the other hand, it's week 11. I still don't know what to think about them because their offense is very explosive, and it's shown that it can be very explosive. But they're having trouble closing out and winning games and winning important games. And the defense is a big issue. And I'm looking at it right now. There's been 3 times this season where they've held their opponents to 20 points or less. When you're guys like Burrow, Jamar, whatever, you kind of got to go out there and do it all yourself because the defense isn't really going to help you. So, and that's what makes them so fun to watch right now is they've kind of understood that if we're going to win games, we got to go out and outscore everybody. And I was as right as I was about the Jets. I think I was wrong about Joe Burrow, and I love the dude. He's electric. I mean, he is he stayed healthy this year. That connection with Jamar, I think Jamar is the best receiver in the NFL right now. That's probably not even a hot take. I think I'm gonna go with the Bengals here. I do think points are gonna be scored. I don't see a way where the Bengals win this game, gritting it out and running the ball and doing all that. I think you're gonna have to feed Jamar. You're gonna have to feed T. Higgins. If he's even back, I feel like we haven't heard T. Higgins' name like at all this season. And like you said, they've got some depth guys, so they're tight ends that Iosava, whatever Iasavis is what I've heard. But 46 and a half seems a little low, but I'll shut up and listen. This will be a fun matchup. A little bit of a mix up on Sunday night. I feel like we haven't seen you do see the Bengals in prime time a decent amount, but Chargers. Enough with this Cowboy, Chief, Lions. I mean, even though the Lions are fun, but yeah, it should be interesting.
I am going to ride with the Bengals, like Sam said. I think T. Higgins coming back, which is huge for me and my fantasy team and the Bengals. I think they sneaky make the playoffs with the weak AFC this year. This would be one of their competitors for that sixth and seventh wild card spot. So another reason why they need to have win here. So give me the Bengals and a T. Higgins touchdown.
A lot of things that I wanted to say have been said at this point. I will throw this in that hasn't been said. Sunday Night Football, which this is Sunday Night Football. Sunday Night Football unders this year are 8-2. Since 2022, they're 35-13, which is 73% clip. So that's a decent amount of data to back that up there. Like it's been said about the Bengals, they need to win this game more than the Chargers need to win this game. Bengals already have 6 losses. It's hard to imagine that a team that's going to make playoffs is going to have more than 6 losses, maybe 7. But I think the Bengals are going to show up this week. I think they're like you could see the anger on Joe Burrow's face while he was having to go like shake hands after the game last week that they lost that game. I think they're going to bounce back in a big way this week. Bengals, the fact that they're plus money this week, I know that they haven't been performing that well this week or this year, but I think that they're going to get it done. It's weird. These teams haven't played since 2021. Both quarterbacks were the same in 2021. But interestingly, even though the Bengals went on to go to the Super Bowl that year, the Chargers won that game 41-22. So they beat the shit out of the Bengals that year. I don't think that's going to happen. Chargers defense has been solid this year, but they're 22nd against the pass. You saw what the Bengals did last week. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase had 100 combined fantasy points. I'm going to take the Bengals plus 1.5. I'm going to take the under 46.5. And yeah, I'm excited to watch this game.
That's a fun little fact right there.
Yeah.
Chargers like killed them. Didn't they suck that year?
I mean, the Chargers are pretty much the same every single year. They like go a game or two above 500 and don't make playoffs or sneak in as a 7 seed. Also, like Sean was talking about, I don't think Bengals are going to make playoffs. I think the Chargers will be a 7 seed, maybe 6 seed.
You don't think?
They literally would have to win like every game. Time for the best part of the show. Last of the week. We'll give it right back to Sean.
I'm going back to it with the Texans minus 7.5 against the Cowboys, who they can't even find who their quarterback is. Is it Cooper Rush? Is it Trey Lance? They both suck, and they've bailed on the season. The Texans are pretty pissed off that they just blew last week, and they're going to obliterate the Cowboys.
My lock this week. Every week, I like to, try to find one that doesn't make sense on the board. And sometimes that's walking into a trap. Sometimes it's easy. More than times than not, this year it's been easy. Last week, I took the Bills minus, I think it was 3.5 against the Colts. And that game was kind of, a little bit close. They only won by 10, but still more than covered 3.5. This week, that game happens to be the Los Angeles Rams playing Coby's New England Patriots. Patriots got a big win last week against the Bears. Hate to bring that up again for Sam, but the Rams are 4-5 right now. They're still in play for the division, still in play for the wild card if they don't win the division. The Rams need this though to keep that divisional hope alive. They already have 5 losses. They need to win some games here, and against the Patriots is the game they need to win to make that happen. Some interesting data here. On the road, as a favorite of more than 4 points, Sean McVay is 17-0 against the spread, which is insane.
Ooh.
I'm going to take the Rams minus 4.5. That's my one.
I'll follow you there, and this really pains me to do. And Tommy always likes to talk about how I go on and I pick the Bears all the time.
Oh
It's
no, Sam. Oh
consider,
no.
consider this your bi-weekly or whatever it may be, Bears rant from me. But what I saw last week was disgusting, and I wanted to puke. And I turned it off after the third quarter, and
Oh.
that was so bad. There was a lot that went wrong, and I'll get to the Packers in a second because they're not the best team in the world, but they're very respectable and very good. And obviously, everyone knows the history between the Packers and the Bears. But this Bears team on offense, defense, they haven't really taken that much of a step back. I mean, they're still a solid defensive unit that you'll be lucky to put up over 20 points a game on, even missing their star safety, Jaquan Brisker, right now. But I mean, the defense is not an issue. When you play Green Bay, the defense can be an issue because for some reason Green Bay just always gets what they want against the Bears. And that's what I'm getting to here in a second. Offense, there's just no identity whatsoever. There's nothing they do good. You can point back years back in advance, even in 2018 when they were a wagon, it was the defense that carried that team. And when they made those playoff runs in the late 2010s and whatnot, they ran the ball well. They always found a way to run the ball. They could make timely throws and get some good situational football in, and they would have really kind of fun trickery plays and funky stuff that would catch you off guard every once in a while. And that's kind of how they played offense and then let their defense go do the rest of the work. Last year in the Justin Fields era, it was we're going to run the ball. We're always going to have a solid run game, having a mobile quarterback, especially when they had David Montgomery. And then we get some big deep passes when we need them, and we let them air it out. There is not one thing on this offense this year that I have seen, despite the astounding supporting cast of guys, and I've talked about it time and time again, the talent that they have. There's not one thing that they do well and that they can lean on. They can't run the ball consistently. They can't throw the ball short consistently. They can't lean on the deep pass game. They can't run on RPOs, read options. They can't do anything well. They're in a mixed bag of goods trying to find themselves, trying to find their identity week in, week out. And it has gotten disgusting to watch. So hopefully Thomas Brown, who heard a lot of good things about, can come in and make a change. Guys seem to be excited about him, and they've got the talent. That's the most disappointing thing is that there's just too much talent on that offense for it to be such a shitty showing. Because whatever I saw last week, that was the worst Bears offensive performance I've seen since the first game Justin Fields started in Cleveland, where he got sacked like 9 times or something. And even that might have been worse, or this last week might have been worse than that. But enough about the Bears. The Packers own us. They always have. Especially as of late. Their line went down from 6.5 to 5 today, which completely surprised me. And this is a little bit of a moral hedge too, because if we somehow don't lose this game by more than 5 points, I'd honestly be, unless it's like a Hail Mary thing again, I'd honestly be kind of not too dissatisfied with it because of how bad football we've played on offense, and I feel like the Packers are going to come in and eat us alive. But who knows? I don't see a world where the Packers don't come in and take care of business against my guys this week, and it kills me. But it's just true. Every time they play against each other, whoever the running back is for the Packers will have 150 yards, will break off a 50-yard run on 3rd and 11. Everything goes their way all the time. Jordan Love will have a drop back, strip off a guy who's about to sack him on 3rd and 15 and throw a 30-yard bomb to somebody. Thanks for listening to my periodic Bears rant. Packers -5. It really pains me, but it's my lock of the week.
So the Atlanta Falcons are plus 2.5 against the Broncos in Denver. Atlanta lost last week 20-17 to the Saints. Weird division game. Young Hoku missed 3 field goals and they lost by 3, and he left 9 points on the board. And that's very unlike Young Hoku. He's normally a pretty accurate kicker, one of the better kickers in the league. Kirk Cousins is top 5 in the league in yards and touchdowns and completions, and he is 12th in completion percentage. Bijan Robinson is 5th in the league in rushing yards, and Drake London is top 5 in catches and touchdowns. And surprisingly, the 6th leading receiver in the NFL is none other than Darnell Mooney himself. I think that they're going to bounce back this week. The Broncos, they're 500. They're on a 2-game losing streak against 2 tough teams. I think they're going to continue that losing streak. They're probably pretty down right now. Rookie quarterback. So I feel like that the Falcons are going to have a big bounce back week, and that they are going to probably blow the Broncos out. They're plus 2.5. It's in Denver, which means that if it was in Atlanta, it'd pretty much be a pick 'em. But I kind of find that disrespectful. I feel like the Falcons are a world of a team than the Broncos. I feel like they have better defense, better weapons, better everything, maybe everything except coaching. I feel like that the Falcons pull this one out, and they're plus. So if they somehow lose by 1 or 2, it still hits.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. Remember to tell your friends to like and subscribe to the Boys of Massaro show. Like Sam said, we only got 6 more games left of the regular season this year. You can count them almost on one hand. So enjoy while we have it, and we'll see you next week.
Like and subscribe.